Hello, guys. How we doing?
Morning, everybody.
Joe here.
Kevin?
I thought last week's episode of The West Wing was honestly one of the. It was a standout for the season for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the better ones for the season.
I,
Absolutely.
I still think it stands shoulder to shoulder with the rest of the show, though. I thought it was a fantastic episode.
It was. It kind of a standalone a little bit.
Kind of, yeah.
It kind of stopped a lot of the storylines. Brought in James Cromwell and brought back.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
John Goodman.
John Good. Brain shut off there for a sec. But like the different perspectives politically on war, I thought it was a really kind of like the 9/11 episode, a really good way to kind of say there's multiple sides to these issues and they're really complicated.
Yeah.
And so the proselytizing from one political angle or another on all of this stuff,
Yeah.
you can do it. Everybody does it. I'm guilty of doing it.
Sure.
But these things are a lot more complicated than we make them. And the president who had passed, there's a human cost that sometimes really gets avoided in all of these.
And I like that they're able to have a healthy discourse about it as well.
For sure.
It wasn't ugly.
It wasn't soapboxy at all. It was just like, let's lay out just how complicated these issues really are. The decision to go to war and what the impact of it is on everybody. Yeah.
And you said it too. It was kind of standalone-y. I don't know why, for some reason, these standalone episodes work for me,
Sure.
but they really do because the narrative itself is so strong, and I am engaged in the story. When we get that moment to breathe, so to speak,
Right.
I like those episodes. I don't know why they work for me, but they do. They always will, apparently.
But some work better than others for me.
sure.
Like you like the
CJ going home.
CJ going home with
Donald Moffat.
With Donald Moffat for there to see your dad. You like that a lot better than I did.
Mhm.
I liked it. I thought it was fine. I do think it really upset the narrative flow of the show for where it was. In a way that I was like, okay, if I was watching this on television at the time, I probably would have been bothered by that episode.
Sure.
Streaming it, whatever, no big deal. But if I was like, okay, this week I settle in,
Wait next week,
whatever night of the week this was on, you settle in. It's like, okay, I'm here to see my show for the week, and it's like, well, all right, now I have to wait another week until we get back. Like TV shows do this all the time,
for sure.
But
we are privileged in that way where we have this on streaming, too.
Right? I mean, we're still watching it once a week, but I mean, we're going 7 seasons without a break. It's not as bad as
we're
it's
also
right
discussing it actively with everyone.
But we're also not having to wait 3 months in between seasons either. So
it's nice.
It would have bothered me more in that, but it was written to be a show off episode for Allison Janney. That's the one they submitted for her Emmy. I get it, but
did she get it?
She won a lot of Emmys. Probably.
Yeah.
But at any rate, back to this episode. I like this one better than that one, just because I feel like this one it kind of dealt peripherally with a salient point that's actually important to the show.
Sure.
We're talking a lot about war on the show. In America at the time this is made, there's 2 very unpopular wars going on.
Yeah.
Or at least getting kicked off around this time. What was this, around 2002-ish? Three. Okay. So we've been in 2 unpopular wars for a while here. And I think it is salient, whereas the CJ one is kind of like we're just stopping all storylines completely.
Somebody said that, like, when this aired, it was a little on the nose for them.
Sure, I get that. Absolutely.
I think, of course, it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, 20 years later, it's interesting to look back at it.
Sure, absolutely.
For the show to make these predictions as to where this is going to head. And
well, I don't feel like this one's a prediction at all. I feel like this is where the world was at the time.
Specifically what James Cromwell was talking about in terms of, like, you go there,
right.
That itself.
You start the war. I feel like by 2003, I think everyone had realized that. I think by 2003, everyone was like, "Oh crap, we really screwed up here."
20 years later, it's like, wow.
Absolutely right.
But I think that's interesting. I know it is a nice little time capsule, so to speak.
Sure, absolutely. I think so. I agree. All right, we're going to jump into it here. We do want to thank all of our Patreon subscribers for being here with us. And I'd like to give a special shout out to Actuarial Lurker, Balas Foldes, Chris, Jeff, Christy Goverston, NJ, Surya Gundavarapu, Weird Magic. Excuse me, I choked to death there. And Towards Your Link Stop. Thanks so much, guys. Really happy you're here with us.
Yes, we are. If you guys are watching us for the first time on YouTube, welcome to our channel. If you might hit the like button for us, please leave us a comment down below and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on the new content we have coming your way.
If you'd like to see a full-length reaction to this and everything else we've watched or watching, please check out the link in the description below to our Patreon page. Every show we're watching, including The West Wing. We're at least 4 episodes ahead on Patreon of where we're on YouTube. So if you get done watching YouTube edits and want to keep going, you can do that on our Patreon page. You're going to have to sync and watch along on your own source material. You will only see near us for copyright purposes. We're also currently watching 30 Rock as a Patreon exclusive.
Yes, we are.
What's wrong?
Yeah, what happened?
Leo won't want to tell him before the State of the Union. It might throw him off his game.
Charlie?
Miss Anders?
Ms.?
Is that
Sorry, son of a...
Charlie,
Whoa! Did we miss something?
Yeah. For sure. What is going on? Yeah.
Okay, is this going to be an episode that was like 36 hours earlier? You know what I mean?
They're really leaning into the non-linear story.
Yeah.
You deserved it.
We can't do this now.
I shouldn't.
You're in the White
How
House.
did you even get in?
Yeah.
So a one-night thing would have worked better for you?
I know 3 weeks was too long.
Charlie, they're ready.
Okay, 3
Okay,
weeks
yeah,
earlier. I was like,
thank you. Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
will clue us in here. I'm lost.
Michelle Anders.
I read the Afro every time I'm in a barbershop.
Well, that's our market penetration.
Yeah.
State of the Union's finished.
Okay.
What are you going to do the next 2 weeks?
Edit the State of the Union
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Is that relaxing?
Joey Lucas stopped by.
She was sorry you weren't in yet. Nice
See
suit.
Joey forever.
Yeah.
Was it a heads-up pre-meeting kind of stopping by?
As he just cannot let women go, can he?
He bounces from girl to girl.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe the time is right.
Maybe not so much.
Broad horizons and anything
Should bring
possible.
a husband with her.
Josh!
That would suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
Pregnant? She's
yeah.
pregnant? Oh.
The time is not right.
And with women, the draft score even higher.
That was a great reaction.
Yeah.
You see spikes in all your policy priorities. It's not the writing that we'll examine. Mall tests are about tone, how the president should deliver the speech. She compile clippings at Energy.
I know Leo's been pressuring you to hire someone, and I heard she was helpful during the shutdown. Just know if she doesn't work out.
Caps here, Mr. Ziegler. Ready for blast off?
Does she not like her?
I don't know. There's a lot we don't know this episode.
That's really true.
So, Congress launched another assault on judicial discretion.
I think they were aiming at kidnappers.
Congress doesn't know I'm serious about these draconian sentences.
Sir, I don't think issuing pardons would have stopped Congress.
Could there be a worse time to consider pardons?
I don't want him distracted.
They wrapped up a lot of the Sorkin ones early on and started clean.
About the ongoing process of reviewing petitions is proceeding, but the president is not considering pardons at this time.
That works.
Yeah, there you go. The non-answer answer.
Good job, CJ.
Yeah.
The case files for today's meeting with the pardon attorney?
I didn't think there'd be so many.
Only 36, but they are short stories. They said you wanted to take a look.
I said we wanted to take a look, and when I said we...
You meant me.
The state of our union is strong.
Booth 2 is version B.
The state of our union is strong.
It's got to be version B. It's strong but not mean. That's the one, right?
It is.
What is her deal?
Yeah. I don't know why she's so important. I think she's fine.
Until the last 40 years, presidents routinely exercised their power, as stated in the Constitution, to give relief against harsh sentences. The benign prerogative, that's what Hamilton called them.
Benign.
Okay.
It's a bag of lit dynamite.
The list that we've been discussing.
These are first-time offenders who've served at least 5 years of a 10-year or longer sentence under the guidelines.
I don't know what packing peanuts are. I find the whole pardon thing interesting.
It is interesting, too.
Yeah. Donna's got a giant heart. She's not going to like doing this. Some of these people are going to be in for dumb reasons.
Packing peanuts.
Yeah.
That's what they're called.
The low-profile cases?
I can't sign a bill that toughens guidelines and ties judges' hands, then turn around next month and advocate judicial discretion.
I'm coming to work here.
Here?
My internship's ending, and I've been offered a really entry-level job in the press corps.
Depends on my discretion.
Charlie, I would never...
He's not just the president.
I see his problem with dating somebody in the press corps as a body man for the president. Yeah.
What are you guys trying to target me or trying to find out what makes me, I don't know. What is it you want? You want me to feel like I'm part of the club? Hey, you want to impress me? Do something.
Josh calling. What was that?
That's my guy. That's who I write for. We pack his veto of the Hicks Amendment and his policy-based pardons in with the State of the Union.
Back to work.
Josh, I need you to hone this list of commutations to a perfect few.
That's why it's so complicated.
Also, Donna's not going to like this.
No.
Donna, it's a huge risk for the president. We have to call the list. We have to be brutal.
These 36 people haven't been culled enough out of thousands of applicants?
Yeah. I mean, really.
You tell me, do we toss out Daisy Ames, mother of 3 with 2 jobs, had a boyfriend who stored a kilo in her closet?
You haven't read these files or looked at these photos.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I wish I never had.
You call
Yeah.
for sure.
These are people. If you want to call them, jump in, I'm done.
Their son petitioned for clemency. They're here to plead his case.
There's a major party contributor with a family member under pardon consideration?
No, there's no Kaler on the list.
Oh, no. This is going to really hurt. That's going to hurt her.
Estes Park high school senior who FedExed LSD.
Poor Donna.
I know. Like,
he shouldn't have put her through this.
Yeah, like you said, her heart is giant.
Yeah, she's not the person to be this brutal.
Kid's parents practically bankrolled a Colorado party, not to mention that White House visit.
So this kid gets screwed for having an important family.
We don't monkey around creating a few poster kids. We say all these cases represent a larger injustice. It's not just about that. Right?
She took the bullet we all managed to dodge. Sure
Yes, she did.
Big time.
Yes, sir. I promised Mrs. Kaler I'd do my best.
What did she say?
She said if it would make a difference, she'd get on her knees.
That's
She
so
begged
sad.
for mercy.
It's your second term. Pardon him.
Yeah.
Take him. Take Donovan off the list.
Leo thinks we should reconsider attending his ex-wife's wedding.
No way. We've always loved Jenny.
But you're the one we want to spend the weekend with.
That's really nice.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Uh-oh.
I just had a call from Ann Kaler, Donovan's sister.
What's up?
A lot.
Yeah.
We've got this.
Miss Anders?
Ms.? Sorry, son of a...
Charlie, are we...
Yeah, that's not a great first day.
There's nothing you could have done.
Stupid. I don't even know why.
It's not stupid. You met him.
I need to learn how to not be so. How to keep things at arm's length.
I like that she doesn't.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you said he wasn't just the president, I understood.
I'll see you around, Michelle.
This is Mr. Holmes of Families Against Mandatory Minimums.
How are you, sir?
And his sister, Candy.
Hi.
She just got home a few hours ago.
You got the second chance you deserve, but it's also a heck of a burden. If you screw up again, you don't just hurt yourself and your family. You hurt all those prisoners still hoping for the fair shake most of them won't get.
Oh, man, this is brutal. This
Yeah.
is so brutal.
Yeah.
It must be an honor to work for him.
It is.
Whew. Obviously, it's gonna be a little hard to talk about that storyline with YouTube's guidelines.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't end well for that character that did not get pardoned.
Yeah, at some point, you kind of feel like it's like, oh my God, why didn't someone just tell him, I can't do it today, but in 6 months, just
for sure,
just in 6 months, this nightmare can be over.
I
wish I would just done it right then.
100%, especially since they didn't do it because of the family, but
yeah,
we don't have that experience, so we don't know what circumstances this poor kid was under. Obviously it's a fictitious character, but it's true to life.
Yeah, for sure. I watched what's that show, Orange is the New Black. I watched like the first 2 seasons. I did. It was fine. I didn't stick with it, but it's not because I hated it or whatever.
Yeah.
I liked it enough. And they did a lot of the backstories on like women who were in prison largely because of who they were dating or married to.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. The circumstances they talked about with the girl and with her boyfriend. And that they showed in like flashbacks with characters on that show that's why a lot of them were there. And it turns out that was the backstory because it happens all the time. That's really what happens.
It's so I watched, I think, the first 2 seasons. I had a girlfriend at the time, and we broke up, and I stopped watching it. Unfortunately, I hear the show does not remain that interesting.
Yeah, sure.
But
it was early Netflix.
Yeah, and that was an interesting aspect of that show as well, is because I think ostensibly that show kind of was a comedy, but at the same time it had that darkness to it.
Sure.
And I think it is an important commentary to really look at our
prison systems
and really think about it. Obviously of course there's people that deserve to be there. Of course, it exists for a reason. But there's a lot of folks that don't have a fair shake.
Well, I think the United States, at least I know this is true a few years ago. I was reading something. I think it's still true today. like locks up more people per capita than any other country in the world.
Sure.
We love to imprison people in America. We love to lock them up, and the longer the better. There's I think it's largely class warfare. Personally, it's like the idea of I don't like these people. Let's lock these people up so I know I'm safe away from these people.
That's
I think that has a lot to do with it. We're not incredibly compassionate as a society. We're not very compassionate.
It should be about
to people.
Reform.
Yeah, we don't focus on that. They've covered that on the show, I think, that we spend so much money on incarcerating people and so little on reforming people, whereas other countries with lower recidivism rates focus more on reform instead of just locking people up forever. The punitive side of it's a little bit less.
It seems like reform works.
It works other places,
sure. And of course, there's outliers. People always point to this or that.
Sure,
like,
right, yeah.
Of course, it's not
this one guy that did this one thing, got out and did this other thing. We should lock up. I mean, I think there's like 2 or 3 million Americans in incarceration at any given time, which is like almost 1% of the adult population. It's nuts.
And of course, there's going to be people that disagree with us. And,
and that's fine. This is just a personal opinion stuff, right?
Just obviously, do your own research and consider these facts. But
it was an NPR article. That's why I'm getting this. I was listening to NPR, and it was one of the groups that does the pardon stuff, right? That works with to free people, like that does a DNA evidence and stuff. And I remember one of the lawyers I were talking to, they said in his personal career, like the people that he'd helped get out by proving much later they were innocent was like some of these people, like all told, like over 1,000 years of people's lives were lost to being incarcerated for crimes they didn't commit. That he went back and litigated and got people out on. It's a tragedy.
It is.
It's an absolute tragedy.
And I heard about it like 10 years ago when I was in college. I used to listen to or watch TED Talks quite a bit, and there was a guy, I think he was from Sweden, maybe. He was foreign, and he was talking about their system versus ours, and it was about drug use and about how we like to lock up a lot of folks that
we love locking up people who use drugs, and we love it.
It hurts your heart. And obviously, like, instead of focusing on fixing these people, obviously, like murderers, criminals, like people deserve to be there.
There's layers to, there's levels to crime.
Yeah, it is complex. I understand that. It's just, you look at a situation like this, and it really does bring tears to your eyes.
Right. And I was just talking about people who are innocent. I mean, not sure that's just innocent. Sure. There are people who are guilty of crimes that still don't deserve, draconian levels of punishment.
It's a weird system.
I don't know. Think of it this way. Let's say that somebody's an addict and they need money to pay for drugs. They break into your house, they steal your laptop and your TV. They get caught. Yeah. Right? They're going to go, your laptop and your TV are gone. We call it breaking, entering, and grand larceny. I don't know, whatever other crimes you want to put with it. And the DA says we're going to lock them up for 15 years for this. Are you happy with that 15 years, or would you be happier with we're going to lock them up for 2? And when they get out, they're going to reimburse you, or they're going to make retribution. Part of it is going to be that you get made whole on what they stole after they serve 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever.
That would be fair.
I would prefer that as the victim of that crime. You know what I mean?
There should be repercussions, right?
No, absolutely no. Yeah, but there needs to be. Crime needs deterrence, obviously.
And I don't think people consider the fact that what is life after prison for most people.
Yeah, in America you can't get jobs. It's on forms in most states. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? I was a restaurant manager for a long time, and I worked for a very large national restaurant that I won't say as a manager that was centrally owned. It wasn't franchises, and their policy was that box was checked. Yes, it is an absolute no. Yeah. You cannot hire someone convicted of a felony. Like and there's a lot of and that was just a restaurant. I'm talking servers and cooks. You know what I mean? And dishwashers. Yeah. Can you imagine like a job that actually is a little bit higher in terms of its pay opportunity? I mean, it's hard to get out of it once you're in.
People go back to
crime. It's like I can't afford an apartment. What am I supposed to do because I can't get a job? It's a terrible. There are organizations that help people now. Yeah. I think now we're recognizing that a little bit more, and good, but mandatory minimums needs to go. This was a great episode for exposing that.
Yeah, for sure. And this is an interesting thing to talk about. Obviously, we're just 2 guys on a couch here.
Yeah, we don't know everything. Don't yell at us.
That's our opinion,
right? Yeah, it's just we also know that not every crime is equal.
Of course.
Not every case is equal. That's why mandatory minimums are stupid. I think a judge who knows what he or she is doing should be able to look at the case and say, based on everything you actually did and everything that's actually been proved, this is what your punishment should be. Not like, well, you did this and I have to put you in prison for 10 years for it. No matter how extraneous some of the extraneous circumstances are, it doesn't matter. I can't exercise any judgment. Sorry, I have to give you this punishment as a one size fits all solution, which I agree with this episode. I think is wrong.
And I want to say this too. If you haven't seen it, watch 12 Angry Men. I think this kind of echoes our
12 Angry Men. Yeah. All right, we'll catch you next one, guys.
See ya.